She was Israel's golden girl. A face so beautiful it graced the covers of the world's most prestigious magazines, a model who became an international sensation, a woman who seemed to have it all: fame, fortune, and even the heart of Hollywood's biggest leading man. But behind the flashing lights and flawless photo shoots, Bar Refaeli's life was anything but picture-perfect. From love affairs that dominated tabloids, to scandals that shook her reputation in her own country, to legal battles that nearly tore apart the empire she built, her story is one of dazzling highs and shocking lows. This is the untold story of Bar Refaeli. Love, fame, scandal, and redemption. Bar Refaeli was born on June 4, 1985, in Hod HaSharon, a small city in Israel. From the very beginning, her life seemed destined for the spotlight. Her mother, Tzipi Levine, was herself a successful model in the 1970s. Her father, Rafi Refaeli, was a businessman. Her mother noticed early on that little Bar had the kind of striking features that could take her far in the modeling world. With blonde hair, piercing blue eyes, and an effortless charisma, Bar stood out even as a child. By the age of just 8 months, Bar was already appearing in commercials. She was literally raised in front of the camera. Unlike many models who struggle for years before their breakthrough, Bar seemed to glide naturally into stardom. Still, her childhood wasn't only glitz and glamour. Growing up in Israel meant growing up in a country defined by politics, conflict, and tradition. While the rest of the world would later see her as an international star, at home, she was still just Bar from Hod HaSharon, the girl with a camera-ready smile and big dreams. The rise of a star. By the time Bar was a teenager, her career was already in motion. At 15 years old, she won the title of Model of the Year in an Israeli beauty pageant. This opened doors to international modeling agencies. Her beauty was undeniable, but it was her versatility that set her apart. Bar could look like the innocent girl next door in one photo shoot and transform into a sultry bombshell in the next. Soon, she was appearing in high-profile campaigns for brands like Guess, Gap, and later, Victoria's Secret. She began to dominate magazine covers, walking in the footsteps of supermodels like Claudia Schiffer and Cindy Crawford. But her biggest breakthrough came in 2009, when Bar landed the cover of the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue, the holy grail of modeling fame. That cover didn't just make her a household name, it cemented her status as one of the most beautiful women in the world. Hollywood started paying attention. Paparazzi began following her everywhere. And it was during this time that Bar entered one of the most famous relationships of her life. Love in Hollywood, Leonardo DiCaprio. Bar Refaeli's love life would become just as famous as her modeling career. In 2005, she was introduced to Leonardo DiCaprio, the Oscar-winning actor known for Titanic, The Aviator, and his reputation as Hollywood's most eligible bachelor. For years, DiCaprio had dated some of the most beautiful women in the world, Gisele Bündchen, among others. But when he and Bar met at a U2 concert in Las Vegas, sparks flew instantly. Their relationship was a tabloid dream. Pictures of the two vacationing on yachts, walking hand in hand at glamorous events, or sneaking away from paparazzi cameras flooded magazines across the globe. For a moment, it seemed like Bar had achieved what so many others could not: taming Hollywood's eternal bachelor. But the relationship wasn't easy. Leonardo was known for his love of the party lifestyle. Bar, while equally glamorous, came from a much more traditional background. Their relationship was on again, off again for nearly 6 years, with constant speculation about engagements, breakups, and reconciliations. Ultimately, in 2011, they ended things for good. The world moved on, but the romance would forever remain one of the most famous chapters in Bar's love story. Other loves and high-profile relationships. Though her time with Leonardo DiCaprio defined much of her tabloid fame, Bar Refaeli's love life didn't end there. She was linked to other high-profile figures, from Israeli businessmen to international celebrities. Her dating life became a subject of fascination in her home country and abroad. But one of the most significant relationships came later, when she met Adi Ezra, a wealthy Israeli businessman from a prominent family. Their romance was quieter than her Hollywood fling, but it was no less important. In 2015, Bar and Audi tied the knot in a lavish ceremony in Haifa, Israel. The wedding was covered extensively in the press, though it also sparked controversy when authorities restricted the airspace over the venue to protect the couple's privacy, a move criticized as elitist. Together, Bar and Audi would go on to have 3 children, reshaping her public image from a glamorous party girl to a devoted mother. But long before her wedding bells, Bar faced scandals that would haunt her career. The military service controversy. In Israel, military service is mandatory for young men and women. For women, that means serving 2 years in the Israel Defense Forces. It's seen as a rite of passage, a patriotic duty that almost everyone takes on. But Bar Refaeli did not. When she turned 18, she managed to avoid her service by marrying a family friend, a man much older than her, and then divorcing him soon after. This marriage of convenience sparked outrage in Israel, where military service is sacred. Critics accused her of being unpatriotic, of thinking she was above her peers. For years, this decision haunted her. Even as she was celebrated abroad, in her home country many saw her as selfish. Bar defended herself by saying she wanted to pursue her modeling career and that she contributed to Israel by serving as a cultural ambassador. Still, the controversy stuck. Legal troubles and tax scandals. If skipping military service caused anger, her next scandal would cause outrage. In the late 2010s, Bar Refaeli found herself in the middle of a massive tax evasion investigation in Israel. Authorities accused her of failing to report millions of dollars in income and of hiding assets by claiming she was living abroad when she was actually based in Israel. In 2020, the case came to a dramatic conclusion. Bar was sentenced to 9 months of community service, while her mother, who was heavily involved in her finances, was sentenced to prison. The scandal was a national headline. The same country that had once celebrated her as its greatest beauty was now watching her as a fallen star. Still, Bar served her sentence, accepted her punishment, and slowly began working to rebuild her image. Public image, fights, and media battles. Bar Refaeli's life has been filled with battles, not just legal ones, but personal and public ones too. She has often clashed with the Israeli press, who have scrutinized every aspect of her life. From her relationships to her parenting style, from her patriotic loyalty to her tax bills, Bar has rarely been out of the headlines. There were even rumors of feuds with fellow celebrities and models, though Bar herself has often brushed these off. Her beauty has always been her armor, but also her target. To some, she represents the best of Israeli glamour. To others, she symbolizes privilege and entitlement. Motherhood and personal life now. Despite the storms of her past, Bar Refaeli has embraced her role as a wife and mother. With Audi Ezra, she has built a family life, raising 3 children away from the constant glare of paparazzi. While she still models and appears in campaigns, she has stepped back from the intense spotlight that once defined her. She spends more time in Israel now, balancing her professional commitments with her personal ones. To many of her fans, she remains an icon of beauty. To others, her story is a cautionary tale of fame, scandal, and resilience. Legacy, icon, rebel, or both. So, how should the world remember Bar Refaeli? As the breathtaking model who graced magazine covers and stole Hollywood's heart? As the woman who defied tradition to chase her dreams? Or as the scandalous star who sparked outrage in her own country with her choices? Perhaps the answer is all of the above. Bar Refaeli's story is not a simple one. It's filled with love and heartbreak, glamour and controversy, triumph and downfall. She is a woman who lived her life in the spotlight, for better or worse. And maybe that's why her story remains so fascinating. Because behind every perfect photo, every flawless smile, and every glossy magazine cover, there is always a more complicated truth. From a baby model in Israel to a global superstar, from Leonardo's arm to a courtroom in Tel Aviv, Bar Refaeli's life has been anything but ordinary. She is proof that beauty can open doors, but it cannot shield you from love, scandal, or controversy. In the end, her story is not just about fame, it's about the price of it. This was the story of Bar Refaeli, a woman who lived in the light but was never afraid of the shadows.